Why did life appear after 13 billion years? Because consciousness was already present. And now consciousness is aware of matter. The scientists think that what? Consciousness, what? Now this is where modern science has a problem. The scientists think that consciousness came from matter. So they think that the material principle generated the conscious principle. Now what's wrong with that idea? Yeah, it's backwards. You can't get something out of something that's inert. Inert means what? It's not intelligent and it doesn't change. Matter only seems to change in the presence of consciousness. So consciousness had to be here at first, but they don't have any way to figure that out because they don't what? Use logic. They don't understand the logic of existence like we do. And they rely on what? On material instruments for their means of knowledge. They've replicated the senses. In other words, they've copied the functions of the sense organs and produced machines that what? That report stimuli in little patterns of energy. That's all they've got. They don't, so what? So it's natural for them to make a mistake and assume what? That matter was the basis of life and that consciousness is incidental, whereas consciousness is the basis of life and matter is incidental. They just got it backwards. The word in Vedanta is called viparaya. Ignorance reverses the relationship between consciousness and matter, between the subject, me, consciousness, and matter, my material energy. It just turns it around backwards, and I don't realize that's happened. So in other words, consciousness or Ishvara is playing a trick on me. That's called Maya. Maya's a big trickster. It's constantly fooling me, and I don't know that I'm being fooled. Now, Vedanta says, going to Vedanta is like going to a magic show. When you go to watch a magician, you know it's not true, don't you? You know that the man is not sawing the woman in half. And you know that the blood that's dripping out of the bottom of the coffin is not real blood. Huh? You know that, don't you? Of course you do. So what is it that why do you believe that? Because you suspend disbelief and you trust what your senses are telling you. You don't question what your senses are telling you. Why? Because you want to be excited. Why do you go to horror movies? Why do you go to those? Because you want to be excited. That's all. Now, well, what is it you really like? Because when you leave, you don't, your excitement disappears. When you leave the theater or you leave the magic show, what happens? You realize that you only went there for the trickiness of the trick, not for the trick itself. You just like being tricked. That's why people like to play pranks on other people. When we were young, we were really stupid. I mean, we were just so crazy, you know. And on Halloween night, we'd all poop in a bag, and then we'd knock on the door, ring the bell, and we'd light it on fire. So the people would come out and see fire burning on their thing, and they'd stomp it out. And then we'd be in the bushes laughing as they realized they had shit on their feet. The boys will be boys. I can't tell you all the tricks. The people, if you wouldn't believe them. If you go YouTube, today it's the same on YouTube, on the what is it? Not YouTube, not so much. The other one. What's the other one? No. Huh?
TikTok.
TikTok. TikTok's full of pranksters, right and left, and you could just laugh for hours. You just keep clicking them. Every one of them is some guy that's dreamed up some kind of trick, huh? And you just love being fooled. You identify with the one that's doing the tricks, and you identify with the one that's being tricked. You understand both, and it's a pleasure. And when you understand Vedanta, life becomes entertainment. There's nothing serious about it. It's a big joke. That's all this stuff you whine, oh my God, and all that. That's all a joke, man. You're taking it seriously, but you're being tricked, and you have to figure out how you're being tricked. And so we just try to open that possibility up to you so that your mind relaxes and you laugh. Because if you're laughing, you're good to go. That's the fourth guna. There's only 3 gunas. The fourth guna is laughter guna, humor guna. So anyway, let's stick with our topic. And so what? The megas disappear in the soup, or these are parameciums. I can't remember if that's an amoeba or a paramecium. I think it's a paramecium. And what happens to these guys? Okay, these little guys multiply by dividing. That's called cell mitosis. And there are 5 stages of that. Each one's got a different name. I've forgotten the different phases. So what? You got 2, and that divides what? That's one cell with 2 parts. It gets divided into a red chromosome and a blue chromosome. And then look at the stages. And then they gradually what? It starts to change its form. It looks like a peanut. Then it shapes. And then as these things mutate, what? They split apart, and we got 2. But is there any difference between this one and that one? Yes. But no. They're different cells, but they're both made of the same substance. They're both consciousness apparently dividing by the power of Maya. That's what Maya's doing. That's how it's tricking us. It's making consciousness look like can be separated, like it can be dualistic. It's never dualistic. When you look, okay, what about light, the sun and the moon? This is the reflection teaching also. Is there a difference between sunlight and moonlight? Yes. No. Yes and no. Now, why is there no difference? Because they're both light. The invariable factor is what? Light, and the variable factor is sun and moon. The original and reflection. Right? But both of them are just light. One ray of light and the trillions or billions of rays of light that are shooting out in space are non-different, aren't they? Even though it looks like the sum total of the sun's rays, which illumine the whole cosmos for billions of years, we're experiencing light that stopped being light like 5 billion years ago. There's stars that have died. Those are red dwarfs. They've fallen into these and they've just been, or those black holes. They've fallen into black holes, and they've been obliterated. But their light is still traveling at 186,000 miles a second, and it's reaching us now. But they're not even there anymore. They're gone. Think about it. So, now, if you got what? If you got cell mitosis, life, then what do you got? B, which makes plants possible. Right? Plants came next. So Oh, there's a plant. And there's rays of light. This, think photosynthesis and carbon monoxide. What do plants eat? Carbon monoxide. What do trees eat? Carbon monoxide. Huh? What do they give us? Oxygen. How do they do that? By photosynthesis, by a process. Who cooked up that process? If you plant a tree, that process will happen. Oh no, I won't get any photosynthesis. I won't get photosynthesis, and my tree won't eat carbon monoxide and produce oxygen. It's a different tree. No, it's not. There's only one tree. There's one idea of a tree. That tree always does the same thing no matter what. That's its program. It's written like that. That's its algorithm. It can't do anything else. It does not have free will. It's alive, it's conscious, but it has no free will. What happens next? Plants, what? Why? See how God's thinking? He thought, the insects are coming next. What are the insects going to eat? Well, they need leaves, don't they? So that insects have something to eat. That's us. How long ago? 9 billion years ago. That's you. I mean, that's your ancestor. When we say in Karma Yoga, when we say worship your ancestors, we mean worship everything that went before you. Huh? In other words, appreciate everything that went before you. Don't blame your ancestors for your problems. See the wonderful things that what your ancestors gave you. So what? So we got insects. And then next, ignorance is logical and smart. Guess what's next? Birds. Birds. Right? Look at that. Starting to kind of look like maybe sort of like us a little bit, doesn't it? Huh? A little strange. Huh? Birds. Okay. See the dinosaurs in the background? Evidently dinosaurs turned into birds. Did you know that? Yeah. Oh, you didn't know. Okay, never mind. Birds. But wait. Hold on. Just a minute. Time change. To continue our story, we need to move from billions to millions of years. We're down from the billions time scale. Now we're down to millions of years. And finally, us, humanoid mammals, which are featherless bipeds, have 2 feet and no feathers, right? Known as Homo habilis. Homo habilis means what? They got homes. Doesn't mean they're homosexuals. And homo means man. And they have habitations. They have dwellings. That's why they're called Homo habilis. Appear somewhere between 300 and 500 million years ago. Let's have a look and see what Homo habilis looks like. He's also called Homo erectus. There you go. Christians don't like that symbol. He looks like an ape. He is an ape. We're apes. Okay? That's us. That's your ancestor. That guy's in you. Huh? And the women know all about that one, don't they? Because they marry these guys. Let's learn about this guy a little bit. The feathers have become hairs. See how those feathers that were in the birds they've reduced and got far more fine, and they become hairs. These were formerly feathers. Did you know that? These were feathers. They become hairs, and we have given up what? Flying. It's for the birds, as we say in the States. It's for the birds, it's useless. It's a waste of time. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. It's for the birds. It's too much work. Flying is way too much work. We camp in caves at first and eventually build nice little mud houses. How do you like this nice little mud house that we're sitting in? Oh, pretty fancy, huh? But it's just mud, isn't it? It's just matter. It's just mud. We fancified the mud a little bit, cleaned it up, turned it into concrete and bricks and stuff, but it's still mud. I mean, the ceiling's being held up by a tree. That thing there is a tree. Thank God for the tree, or we're toast. We'll look like the people in Palestine, the poor Israelis. And what do we do? What do we like? We like weapons and glorify violence. Oh, yeah, we do. What about football? You watched American football? That's violent. That's seriously violent. Those guys get paid anywhere from a few million up to $40 or $50 million a year to put their lives in jeopardy. And one hit on a quarterback by a 300-pound lineman going at warp speed will end his career. And he'll just sit there like this for the rest of his life. Right? Because people love violence. It's like you love horror stories and you love comedies. You love violence. The world today is mostly us guys. So don't say you don't have violence in you. It's in you. Don't just pretend it's all sweetness and light and I'm just such a lovely, sweet, little, kind, generous, loving person. The violence is there. It will be leaking out in one way or the other, either in what? In your thoughts or your words. You know, have you heard of nonviolent communication? Huh? Maybe you haven't heard of that. But they're training people to what? Learn to communicate in a nonviolent way, using words that don't inflict injury on the subtle body of other people. That's as much violence as a physical blow. A blow on the subtle body with the right kind of words can cause so much injury to a person that they're basically dysfunctional for most of their life. I had a friend who was his feelings were hurt in the 6th grade by her best friend, and she had never forgiven that friend when she was 55 years old. So she spent 49 years in pain because of those hurt feelings. She carried those hurt feelings with her that long. And she still has a hard time. She's trying to overcome it. Well, but it wasn't the girlfriend's fault. The girlfriend had violence in her. She just said something, catty and nasty as kids do. And hurt her feelings, and she carried that hurt for 49 years. The world today is, so don't say it isn't in you. We dress up a bit to deceive, but we aren't hard to spot. We aren't hard to see because we're so gross. Understand? You try to look and you fancy yourself up, you all dress nice, you have your hair and nails done and all that sort of thing, and you speak very flowery words and everything. But inside, what's being hidden there? What are you covering up for? Yes, sir.